Um, During the inner dance sessions, why is it that some people move, some don't move, people see things, but some people don't see things? Why does that happen?
Um, on a really basic level, it has to do with ways in which we internalize our experiences. Some people are more visually oriented, so the prefrontal cortex might get really involved in the
Mm,
process and allow for them to see things in more of a very vivid like dream and and have these more visual interpretations. Other people are more visceral, connected in the somatic parts of their experience and the parts of the brain related to more kinesthetic movement might be active rather than visual. Sometimes
mm,
it's both at the same time, and a person is physically acting out what it is that they see behind their eyes. So there are ways that multiple places in our minds can be awake, alive, alert, and active all at the same time. And then there are moments when um, it moves in waves. So it might be a wave of color and visualization and a wave of just very deep feeling. And then it might go into something else again. So partly it has to do with parts of our brain that are active, but as well, how are we integrating or synthesizing what it is that's coming through? Um, is it the thought that comes first? Because
mm.
as soon as, let's say, for example, a person begins to think, I'm bored, nothing's happening, a lot of the time, everything else just seems to turn off because the perceptions and abilities to perceive what is subtle are now in the background to this feeling of boredom that's in the foreground. So it gets harder to reconnect with what you've already kind of canceled out because of the thoughts
Yeah.
that are most prominent. So things move a lot more in very different ways, and depending like how much are you willing to let yourself go into what feels like nothing in order to see if something else is there. um, and yeah, this might wake up very differently each time. um, and maybe there are just repetitive ways that a person finds themselves in these inner experiences. I also find that if the body has opened from another type of practice or modality, or uh, or some type of a ceremony in the past, that it's more inclined to use these pathways for opening things when you try something new because it's familiar and your body already
Mm,
has this type of a memory, whether it's
yeah.
fully grounded in or whether it's just a subtle expression that you're slightly tuning into. Like it'll just keep intensifying the more that you let it keep going, right? So
Yeah.
if somebody first experienced um, some type of an awakening, let's say through plant medicine. Maybe they were using psilocybin, and this was a way to activate more of a expanded state of consciousness connected to what could potentially open up with psychedelics. And this is really well documented at this stage. What ways the brain's pathways and the types of connections that can be made in neuroplasticity through a journey like this. It might
Yeah.
be easier for the energy to move in a similar way if somebody comes into the inner dance for the first time. So it's using the openings from whatever whatever you've opened up with before as a way to help you keep going deeper.